Good evening. World number one and five-time champion Serena Williams has crashed out of the Australian Open after a fourth-round loss to Ana Ivanovic. In the men's draw, Novak Djokovic made it look easy, while David Ferrer overcame Florian Mayer. The seeds tumbled in the women's draw, with Angelique Kerber also bundled out, but it was Ivanovic who caused the tournament's biggest upset.
The 14th seed, Ana Ivanovic, had the better of the first set against world number one Serena Williams.
Wow.
The Williams made her move when it mattered and snared the opener. In the second, Ivanovic got reward for effort, breaking to take a crucial lead. A second break handing the Serbian the set, taking the match to a decider. Sam Stosur's conqueror in the previous round flying out to an early lead, everything going right. Five-time Open champ getting a taste of her own medicine.
Unbelievable.
Ivanovic simply too good in a stunning upset.
It's not easy, playing such a champion, and like you said, I never beaten her before, but, she is also just a human, and I know she has lots of pressure too, and, I just really went out there, swing at the ball, and I really did that really well.
Ivanovic with the biggest giant slaying of the Open so far. Veteran Flavia Pennetta scored a huge upset against 9th seed Angelique Kerber.
Oh, good stuff again. It was a great chase.
The German fought back to win the second set, but the Italian caused another boil-over. No such dramas for four-time champ Novak Djokovic, who demolished the 15th seed Fabio Fognini in just over 90 minutes, as he seeks a fourth straight title down under. And last night there were comprehensive victories for two of the favourites, Rafael Nadal and defending women's champ Victoria Azarenka.
And what a way to finish it.
Glenn Osborne, World News Australia.
Football now, and some devastating news for the Socceroos ahead of the World Cup. Key forward Robbie Cruz looks set to be ruled out of the Brazil showpiece after tearing the anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee. The 25-year-old will undergo surgery this week after suffering the injury in training with Bundesliga club Bayer Leverkusen. A traditional knee reconstruction would definitely end his World Cup hopes. However, Cruz could recover faster if he opts for the riskier LARS surgery. Adelaide has maintained its impressive A-League form after downing Western Sydney in the final match of round 15. Last night, the Mariners polled more misery on Sydney, while Wellington thumped Melbourne Victory. This evening, the Reds beat Wanderers to jump into 5th on the ladder. The hosts were on the board in the 4th minute after a controversial goal to Marcelo Perusca. The Argentine pounced after Bruce Jitte managed to keep the ball in play despite appeals from the Wanderers. Western Sydney finished the half strongly, with departing marquee man Shinji Ono looking dangerous. But the home side held firm to remain undefeated in its last 6 games. Sydney FC coach Frank Farina has threatened to wield the axe after his side took its winless A-League run to 5 games. Farina says the Sky Blues didn't show enough fight after going down 1-0 to Central Coast.
Mile Stojovski's deflected 58th minute goal was enough to secure all 3 points for the Mariners. Now it's time for a shake-up at the Sky Blues.
Some of the performances weren't as good as I expected, without naming individuals. So if we have to change, we'll change.
Farina frustrated by a lack of fight from a side chasing a win to jump back into the top 6.
If I'm not going to get that, I'll try players that hopefully will.
No concerns over the effort level from the Mariners, who have moved into 3rd on the ladder.
I've got so much faith in these boys, I really do. It doesn't matter what's thrown at us. We just find that resilience.
Melbourne Victory was left searching for answers after copping a 5-0 hiding from Wellington.
As the 3 games in 8 days, with the number of bodies we've had available taking its toll, who knows? But I'm not interested in that at all.
Remarkably, the Phoenix's 5 goals doubled their season's home tally. Kenny Cunningham's long-range strike, one for the A-League showreel.
Well, I don't think he was going to dip it that much and bend it that much, but Beckham, he can do what Beckham can do.
The loss a bitter pill for Melbourne, but softened by a big win off the park, with News 20-year-old Socceroo Tommy Rogic is set to sign with the club this week. Meanwhile, Sydney FC has continued its scoring spree in the W League. By half-time, the competition leader had netted 3 goals against Brisbane Roar. Newly crowned FIFA Women's World Player of the Year Nadine Ungerer was rested for Brisbane as Jodie Taylor finished with a brace, the Sky Blues completing a 4-0 rout. Brett Clancy, World News Australia.
Manchester City has passed the 100-goal mark for the season after downing Cardiff to stay second on the Premier League table. Arsenal continues to set the pace, having accounted for Fulham, but fellow contender Liverpool dropped points at home to Villa. But it was City's result against Cardiff that set a new record in the English top flight.
In its 34th game of the season, Manchester City hosted Cardiff, needing one goal to eclipse Chelsea's record century of goals from 42 games. Edin Dzeko with the added honour of scoring the Premier League's first one, decided by the decision review system.
Confirmation of Manchester City's 100th goal.
Craig Noone took it upon himself to fire the Bluebirds level before the half hour, but the citizens restored their advantage going into half-time.
It's Navas!
Goals inside the space of 3 second-half minutes from Yaya Toure and Sergio Aguero, ensuring City's perfect home record remained intact.
That's the result. It's like he's never been away.
Fraser Campbell adding a late consolation, the loss seeing Cardiff drop to the bottom. At the other end of the table, Arsenal managed to keep its nose in front of City, with Santi Cazorla grabbing both goals in the win over Fulham.
It's Santi Cazorla to stay all right.
Liverpool looked down and out after going 2 behind at home to Aston Villa, but Daniel Sturridge revived the Reds' hopes before half-time. And when Brad Guzan brought down Luis Suarez after the break, Steven Gerrard stepped up to rescue a point for the hosts.
Here to level it at 2-2. Back in business.
In Spain, Ballon d'Or winner Cristiano Ronaldo scored the first of 5 goals against Real Betis, as Real Madrid went level on points with leaders Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. While in Italy, Juventus tightened its grip on the Serie A title with a commanding 4-2 win over Sampdoria. Andrew Reid, World News Australia.
In cricket, Australia is chasing 244 runs for a series-clinching victory against England in the third one-dayer at the SCG. Owen Morgan top-scored in a scratchy innings for the tourists. Superb fielding and a standout performance from paceman Nathan Coulter-Nile put Australia in a strong position to take an unassailable series lead.
As a leader, it's been a despicably crook summer for Alastair Cook. Finally, he showed some fights.
Just as good.
England skipper licking his lips thanks to some wayward bowling.
On a strike there from Cook, and it's going all the way.
Cook's crusade curtailed on 35 after a ripping Glenn Maxwell grab.
Super catch. Glenn Maxwell makes things happen.
Ian Bell falling next, speared by a direct David Warner.
He's out. He's out. You wouldn't believe it, would you?
Warner lost for words, so too Ben Stokes after a Michael Clark classic.
Oh, that's brilliant. Surely he hasn't caught that. Michael Clark, that was an absolute ripper, square leg.
All the Queen's corgis and all the Queen's men couldn't put England together again. Gary Balance tossing away his innings.
To the man, it's a wicket.
Fresh off a century at the Gabba, Owen Morgan tried to hit the visitors out of trouble.
That's into the stand.
Brad Haddon breaking the 50-run partnership.
Wonderfully caught from Brad Haddon.
Dan Christian making it a double breakthrough.
Dropped it far enough. Dan Christian makes good ground.
Morgan standing his ground before replays earned the tourist his marching orders as the wickets continued to tumble.
That's an inside edge under the fence.
Tim Bresnan showed late fire with a desperately needed 41.
Dear oh dear, that's a big shot.
Australia set 244 for victory. Nick Vinden, World News Australia.
Meanwhile, the Sydney Sixers have secured their place in the Big Bash semi-finals after a 2-run victory over the Melbourne Renegades. A half-century from Moses Henriques helped the Sixers reach 151 runs from their 20 overs. Poor running between the wickets cruelled the Renegades' run chase, needing 17 off the last over. Ben Rora's hitting came too late as the Sixers held on by 2 runs. Organisers will learn tomorrow afternoon whether the opening stage of the Tour Down Under will go ahead as planned. A bushfire continues to burn out of control near Anguston, the host town for Tuesday's finish. Mike Tomalaris has the latest from Adelaide, where an Olympic gold medalist made a special appearance.
A touch of cycling royalty arrives in Adelaide. Olympic hero Sir Chris Hoy prefers to brew coffee than win gold medals these days. But as a VIP guest of Australia's premier cycle tour, he's not afraid to pick a winner.
Again, looking really lean. He's lost his track fat, as he told us last night at the presentation. I think he's motivated and he's ready to go, and it'd be a great start to the season if he could win this.
Adelaide loves a party. Last night's official presentation attracted huge crowds.
Maddie got Simon Darren's Luke Bridge.
And there's no doubt Australia's only Tour de France winner generates the biggest appeal.
Cadel Evans, Team BMC, everyone. We've got a great team here, very motivated team, and we're of course here. We start together, most of this group. We go on together to the Giro d'Italia, but we're not here for training.
All riders have nothing but praise for the first race of the World Tour.
It's just always a special occasion, you know, to race here in Australia and be part of this.
Yeah, there's no race like this in the world. Going up Wollonga and having a guy in a kangaroo costume chasing you, it's different.
Tour Down Under provides a laid-back atmosphere for the 140 internationals. Heads are turned in city streets as riders fine-tune their preparations, but fires continue to burn in the Barossa Valley. A final decision on whether Tuesday's Stage 1 will go ahead will be made by fire authorities at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Mike Tomalaris, World News Australia.
Spain's Nani Roma has become just the third competitor to take a Dakar crown on 2 and 4 wheels. Roma clinched the car's title a decade after his last triumph on a bike. The Mini driver's victory was only possible after his teammate Stefan Peterhansel pulled over to let the Spaniard pass. Mini made it a podium clean sweep with Peterhansel second and Nasser Al-Attiyah third. Spain's Marc Coma clinched his 4th Dakar title on 2 wheels, ending Cyril Depray's hopes of winning 3 straight rallies. Don't forget to tune in to SBS 1 tomorrow evening at 5:30 for our final Dakar Rally program. We'll bring you a review of all the thrills and spills from this year's event. The Netherlands have thrashed New Zealand 7-2 to claim the Hockey World League final in New Delhi. Meantime, Australia controversially lost the bronze playoff after going down 2-1 to England. Trailing by goal, the Kookaburras thought they had forced a shootout after appearing to equalise on the final play of the game. But the goal was disallowed for obstruction following a video replay. The result left coach Rick Charlesworth fuming, but his men still retain their world #1 status. And that's today in Sport Living.
Another action-packed day.
Always.
Thank you, Craig.